What's up guys, welcome back to our YouTube tutorial. This is God Tank. In this series we are going to learn how to upload an image using Laravel. Now to start with, we need to create a new Laravel project. So we'll have composer, create project. It's a Laravel project, of course. And then the next thing we need to do is specify the folder name. So we'll have something like that, and it's going to install. It's here, image upload. Oh, stand with Ukraine. Okay, awesome. So we'll also learn a bit of how do we validate images in this tutorial and what might make your image not to upload actually in this tutorial. Now this tutorial is going to be a short one. Now let me open this project folder. Let me open the project folder, image upload. Okay. Now the first thing we probably need to do is that let's have our application. So we'll have a PHP artisan serve. PHP artisan serve. So we'll have, voila, our project is ready. Now my focus is going to be on the routes. On the view, I'll just use this welcome view over here, and a controller that I'll be creating right now. Let me create a controller, maybe PHP artisan, make controller. Let me call it image upload controller, and press enter. Now my focus will also be in that controller itself. So I'll be using the view, the web, which is the routes file, welcome, and the image upload control over here. Now in order for us to have an image uploaded, we need to have a form with the input of a file and maybe submit over there, right? So there's one thing that always happens with uploading images. If you forget the enc type of multipart /form data, your image will never upload. And you should always consider that, because most of the time, let's say if you're using Ajax or even uploading this, your image might fail to upload if you fail to do this. Now what's the next thing we really need to do is have a file, an input of file, of type file, and let's give it a name, maybe img, and an id img. I'll not use it for now, I'll use it in the next tutorial when uploading images with Ajax. And then we'll have a button of type submit, and give it, maybe let's say upload now. The next thing we need to have is an h1 with, let's say, image upload with code tank. Okay, now we don't need to forget our CSRF token. Don't do whatever I've done, that is just me and my settings over here. So you have CSRF token. Now let's see, let's create an action, and it doesn't matter as long as I use post with the same URL once, there'll be no problem at all. So we'll have over here, we'll have to point to the to this particular control over here. So we'll have app, then we'll have HTTP, and then we'll have controller, and then next we'll have the image upload controller. Okay, so I need to use a function. Let's say I'll use just image upload post. Let's give it a name. I'll be using named routes. So I'll have image upload post. Okay, now the next thing we probably need to do is use this as a function in the controller and use this as a named route in the views file over here. So we'll have a route, and in this route it will be image upload post, and then here I'll create a function. It's a public function. It's image upload post. It will take in requests. And that being said, let's try and maybe return redirect back and see what happens. Return redirect back to the same page. Let's refresh this page real quick. Now if I try to upload now, see, it goes back to the same page, right? Now the next thing we need to do is probably find a way of uploading this image. So with that being said, let's maybe flash a session message. Let's say a session success message, maybe. Let's say image uploaded successfully. And let's use session. All right, so how do we display this session message over here? We'll need to check if the session has success, then we display it. So if session has success, then we'll have p tags, and then we'll display the session get success, right? So let me give it some bit of style. Let me just give it one style. The color, I'll not be focusing much on the styling over here. So the color, let's give it a green color. Now let me refresh this page, and if I upload now, it says image uploaded successful, so we are good to go. Now the next thing we probably need to do is that we need to validate what happens when someone uploads something that is not actually an image. What happens? So we need to validate this input, this particular img input, and we should really have to get an image. If it's not an image, then it brings a message which is an error message. So we validate, and then we have image field over here. It's an array. So the first thing we need to do is that let's say it's required, right? And the next thing we need to do, let's say it's an image and we have a particular type, we have particular mimes that we need to set, and they're usually JPEG. Another thing we usually have is JPG, another thing is PNG, and maybe let's say GIF, right? With that being said, you also need to set, let's set the maximum size of the file to, or the image in this case, to be something like 2 MB, let's say 2048. Now what happens when we don't pass through this does not happen. We upload something else, or we don't upload, maybe. Let's see what happens. If I click upload now and don't have any image, there's an error message that should be displayed over here. Now how do we display the error message? So we need to count the errors. We need to check if you can count the errors, or maybe the errors are greater than 0. For every opening if, there's a closing, and if for every opening, we need to loop through the for each. We need to loop through the errors. So for every opening for each, there's a closing and for each. So we need to loop through all of them as error, and then we end for each. So with that being said, let's have a p tag here with a style and give it a color, maybe crimson, and let's display the error. Okay, so let me refresh here real quick, and let me click upload now. there should be something undefined error or errors. Okay, still not displaying. So why is it not displaying? For each count errors is greater than 0, what happens? And then need to check all error and then display the error. Let's see, upload now. The image field is required. Okay, now the next thing we probably need to do is that we need to upload our image itself. We are done with the validation. If I upload something that's not an image, it will bring an error. Something which lacks an extension of the JPEG, JPG, PNG, or GIF, it will bring an error. If I bring something greater than 2 MB, it will also bring an error, which is what I exactly needed. So what do I do next? The next thing I need to do is get the image name, image extension actually. So in this case, the image extension will be the request img, and then I get the extension using this particular function, extension function. Now this only brings extension if for example, in this case, we can also return and see what happens and see what we'll get as a result. It's good seeing rather than saying this and this will happen. So let me choose an image over here and open and upload. It will bring the extension, which is a JPG. Now we need to create a random name for the image so that while uploading the images in a particular folder, we will not be having clashes. Let's say we have 1.jpg and we also have 1.jpg. If we save them in the same folder, you'll get at some point it will save it as one, and then the opening and closing the opening and closing braces, and then it will write maybe something else like 1 to start with. That is the folder naming convention. So now how do we do it? We can use time, because time changes each and every second, so we can use time. And also another thing we can do that I normally do maybe is that I can have a random integer. Okay, and then in this random integer, what happens is that, let me say I create a random integer from, this is 20,000 to 100,000, right? So maybe we can have at random int from this point to, okay, it needs a dot to the extension, so we'll have something that looks like that. So if I return now, this is not the extension, this is the image name. For now, this is the image name that we have assigned it. Okay, so such that if I refresh this page again, you'll see there's an image, random image name. If I refresh again, there's a random image name over here. Now let's upload this particular image to our public folder here. Now it's a good practice to have folders over here such that if you're uploading, you know where to go, other than populating all the images in this public folder. That being said, we need to create a folder called image over here, or photos, or any other kind. Now I'll create it with this controller, this function over here. Now we need to take the image, this particular image over here, and then what do we do next? We need to move it to a folder, let's say images. It will be created automatically. It either finds or creates. It will find a folder called images, or it will create a folder called images. If it finds, it will upload, it will move the image over there. If it doesn't find, it will not move, it will create an images folder over there. So we'll have the image name, right? Now with that being done, this image will be uploaded successfully in our public folder over here, but it will create a folder called images where it will move the image based on the name we have given it over there. Now let's refresh over here. Now the image is uploaded successfully. If I come to my public folder over here and check images, there's an image uploaded over here, which is this dream big. Now, what happens when I want to upload my images in the storage folder? Now, the image, okay, one thing to add is that image can be accessed using asset. If you can use asset and then you have images and then you have a slash and then let's say the image name, come in. If you have a variable, it all depends with you, but it is image and then the image itself over here. Now, let's say for example you need to upload the image in the storage folder over there. Now what do? It's also as easy as doing whatever I've done over here. So we need to let me comment this out. We need to do this. We need to have the request and then image img, not image, img, based on what we have given it as the name in the views over there. And then we need to store as, so folder name, and then what are we storing? We store as this image name over here. And then real quick, let's go and upload another image and see what happens. If I choose the same image and upload now, let me check my folder, my storage folder. I have app. I'll have a folder. The image is uploaded successfully. Now guys, that is how we actually upload our images. You can upload it in the public folder or you can upload it in the storage folder. Thank you for being keen and listening. Let's meet in our next tutorial where we'll talk about how we'll actually upload our image using Ajax. Thank you.